dilag at sa kanyang lumi at ganda, dayuhan ay nahalina, bayan ko binihag ka.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions of the host do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guest do not reflect the views and opinions of the host, the management, and the station.
Lord, heal our land against coronavirus, other diseases, calamities like floods, typhoons, earthquakes, and man-made destructions, terrorism, illegal drugs, corruption. Transparency TV presents a discussion of vital issues affecting public interests on legal, medical, government, education, tourism, business, sports, family, and religious matters. Hosted by Broadcaster Mike Maghari. And now, your hosts.
Good morning, Philippines, Western Visayas, the province of Negros Occidental, and the city of Bacolod. Our main topic of discussion for today is about climate change and good governance. Of course, karong adlaw, Sabado, the 6th day of August 2022. Mga kabayan, sa karong presentation sa aton programa, a very controversial topic ang aton pagatalakayon, kay te parte ini sa climate change, amo ini ang kinanglanon gid sa bilog nga kalibutan, no? Hindi lang sa Pilipinas, na kinanglan maproteksyonan naton ang aton environment. Kaya mo na isubong ang problema sa aton kalibutan, no? Ang aton dinapit nga bisita, our honored guest for today is a brilliant trial lawyer who finished his Bachelor of Laws at the University of the Philippines and of course finished his Bachelor of Laws degree sa Ateneo de Manila University, I understand, no? Kag sa iya undergraduate. Kag sa iya sini graduation sa University of the Philippines College of Law, kag ini siya nakapasar sa Philippine Bar in 1976. Makabyanan hubin pa ini siya sa Balatyagon, kag ini siya makabyanan corruption advocate, being the vice president of Kasanag Foundation, headed by Mr. John Chong. Amo ni siya subong ang nagabuligid sa mga gina-oppressed nga mga tao, and not only here in the province of Negros Occidental, but also in the entire country. Kaya ang task force Kasanag, mga kabyanan, it is a group nga sa din gabulig sa mga gina-oppressed nga mga tao, no? Ang aton honored guest, mga kabyanan, a very likable person, a good friend of mine, Attorney Roger Brick Reyes. Attorney, welcome.
Good. Thank you for the gracious introduction, Mike. And I'm very privileged to be here this morning with you, especially kay madugay na yung aton inupdanay sa advokasya. I still recall how we worked together during the Philsocom na Sutra days, when we were campaigning for the benefit of the sugar industry, and together with Corazon Zaico and Hortensia Stark. And so after 30 or 40 years, I'm back in my hometown, and I'm still the same activist that I was 30 or 40 years ago. And so I'm very pleased to be back, and this time let us focus on climate change and good governance, because both are interrelated.
Okay. Thank you so much, mga kabyanan. Masiling naton isa ini siya sang pinaka mayogid nga manog hambal, no? A public speaker, being a lawyer, diri sa aton sa pungsod Pilipinas. Now, si Attorney Roger Brick Reyes, may advocacy ini siya, mga kabyanan, may kang tanan sa sinay mga Clean Air and Water Acts, no? Ang aton nga mga layibla nga sa din ginaproteksyonan naton ang aton nga environment, no? Tell us a backgrounder, a big break, no? Brief backgrounder sa sining problema ta sa climate change kag ini parte sa pagtukod sang mga planta sang alkohol nga kung kaisa nagahalit ini sa pollution sa aton nga mga lugar sa probinsya sang Negros Occidental.
Yes, Mike. First of all, kinanan na maintindihan sa aton na tagpalamati, our listeners, that the Philippines is a signatory to the Paris Convention on Climate Change. In other words, during the time of President Cory Aquino, we became a signatory and we participated actively in the programs for improving the environment, not only in the Philippines but worldwide. And among for our real listeners to understand, climate change is not a simple issue. People tend to blame human activity only as the cause of climate change. But if you study the history of this planet, there have been many cyclical changes in the climate and in the environment of our planet. And this sometimes it becomes very warm, sometimes it becomes very cold. But the complication of the human race is that from perhaps only less than 1 million people inhabiting the planet, now we have 7.5 billion human beings occupying this planet and growing every year. And these 7.5 billion human beings have an effect on the environment of the planet, which is because, number one, humans generate wastes. In other words, as a human being, we have garbage, we have human waste, and in our activities, we generate a lot of wastes that sometimes does not deteriorate immediately. For example, plastic bags. Plastic bags are one of the biggest problems of ocean pollution. Eventually, these plastic bags end in the ocean, and they cannot be they do not decompose in just a few days or months or weeks. They decompose in several years, and so all the fish and other living organisms are affected by these deluge of plastic products into our ocean.
Oo. Hindi lang sa ocean ta, kundi mismo sa aton nga mga gagmay lang nga mga suba, no? Sa mga creeks ta, di isa man ni nagatugas ang not only pollution problem but also sa sining pagbaha-baha, no? Flooding in our urban centers.
Because of the number of human beings, we need residential structures, so we cut down the trees and use it for materials, and as a result, we affect the rivers, we affect the soil, we affect the environment. In other words, my point is, human activity has become a major factor in pollution, which is also considered now as a major factor in climate change.
Okay. Oh. Now, sa ilo kita sa sining problema ta sa mga planta, no? I understand damo kita planta sang alcohol, no? To make mention a few sa Pulupandan, mayara, no? Sa Victoria City, mayara man. Kag of course sa Manapla nga ginapanagiyahan, I understand sang Victoria's Milling Company. Kag also in other parts of Negros Occidental, no? Sa Bago, I understand.
Yeah.
Also in Talisay?
In Talisay, there's a small plant in Talisay.
Okay. Now, how does it affect ang aton climate change or pollution problem sa aton pungsod Pilipinas, and in particular in the province of Negros Occidental?
As I had pointed out earlier, human activity is contributing to pollution, and pollution is contributing to climate change and environmental problems of the planet. And one of these human activities is the commercial production of alcohol, which was stimulated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Because with the pandemic, the virus problem, alcohol became a necessary product to be able to counter the virus.
Okay.
Oh,
In demand, no?
in huge demand.
Oh, yes.
So, bilang, ang mga alcohol plants became very profitable. And in the province of Negros Occidental, we produce a lot of molasses as a byproduct of sugar production. Ning aton bilang molasses, amo ini ang raw material nga ginahimo sining apat ka planta diri sa Negros nga nagahimo sang alcohol. Na the biggest of which, of course, is Asian alcohol in Pulupandan. And the second biggest is the Victoria's Milling bioethanol plant in Purisima, Panapla. The third probably is the DTI alcohol plant in Bago. And the smaller one is the one in Talisay. And in the production of molasses, for our listeners to understand, there is a process called fermentation. And in this fermentation process, and in the distilling of the fermented product, you produce a lot of byproducts. Number one is slops. Ining itom lang daw aspalto nga gina-produce sa mga alcohol plants as a byproduct that is primarily carbon. Oh, kag ilan na nga byproduct sa pagproduce ng alcohol. In addition, they produce a lot of methane gas and ammonia.
So, hindi maayos sa hikaing lawas ng tao?
Hindi lang environmental problem, kundi nga pwerte ang baho that it affects the humans residing in the peripheral areas of the plant. And to demonstrate this, Mike, kung mag-drive ka sa salakyan, mo kag mag-agi ka sa Bago, matimingan mo nga ginadiskarga ang methane gas sang planta sang alcohol dira. Masimutan mo daw itlog bala nga baog. Nga to the point that people have contracted a lot of diseases because of this continuous exposure to this air pollution. The air pollution affects your lungs, and in the case of Manapla, it has created a lot of asthma and skin diseases among the population residing in the peripheral area of the plant.
So, sa Manapla kag sa Victoria, apektado ang mga tao?
Yes.
It is really a health hazard?
It is a health hazard, and it has literally killed several people already in the area.
Gradually,
Yes. Kung sa aton pabla kanta, killing me softly ning kwan mo ang air pollution sang Victoria's Milling alcohol plant dira sa Barangay Purisima, Manapla. We're talking about methane gas and ammonia, and of course, ang ilang slaps supposedly ila na i-treatment. Pero ang ila treatment hindi effective, and it cannot remove the foul smell, and it cannot remove completely the water pollution because ang ila resulta sa ila water treatment inadequate, ginabubo nila sa Sicaba River. And as a result, fish kill. And the people residing in the area are always complaining, and eventually these slaps end up in the ocean. Dira sa baybay sa Manapla, which pollutes the seashores and eventually the waters of Manapla. So
apektado gali ang mga punaw mga punano nga mga seafoods.
Hindi ka na dapat magkaon sang mga seafood products dira sa ina nga area because there's a possibility that it is contaminated.
Contaminated.
Yes.
Base may red tide pa.
So we have inherent in the production of alcohol a pollution, air pollution, methane gas and ammonia, and even sulfuric acid, and water pollution generated by the slaps. Ining itom nga mga products nga byproducts ini sang alcohol production.
Break, I'm curious, no? Ano ang ginahimo sa aton local government? Say, for example, the municipality of Manapla, ang ila ni mayor, kag mga katapos sa sangguniang bayan abi sa Manapla and also in the city of Victoria sa sining reklamo sa mga pumuluyo nga puwerte kabaho kag dako ang halit sa ikayong lawas ng tao. May mga reklamo sining nabatian ka?
Madamo nga reklamo for the past 10 years.
Lawig ng gali.
Napulo na katuig ang movement ni sang Save Purisima movement where they have filed numerous, hindi lang niya isa, guro mga about siguro 20 or 30 complaints. We have petitions from the residents of Barangay Purisima. We have a petition from the public school teachers of the school in Barangay Purisima. We have a petition from the Sanggunian Pangbarangay of Barangay Purisima, Barangay Burgos, and Barangay another barangay in Cadiz City against the pollution of the Sicaba River and the air pollution.
Tinanong ginimo sa atong mga local government units sa City of Victoria as Mayor Tadaabe. Kasubong ini si Javi Javi Benitez.
Yes.
Kag ang mayor sa Manapla si Manolet Escalante.
Unfortunately, Mike, despite all these numerous complaints, nothing has been taken in order to impose the requirements of the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act on the plant of Victoria's Milling.
It falls on deaf ears sa
Exactly.
aton mga local officials, no?
Worse pagid hindi lang deaf ears. The barangay captain of Barangay Purisima sa Monte, in-endorse siya pa yung planta nga gintagaan clearance nga okay lang ang planta. And Mayor Escalante of Manapla gave also a permit to operate this plant despite all the many complaints and petitions filed by the residents.
Diba si may kwarta daw? Ay man.
It's possible. You know, Victoria's Milling is a different entity now. Sa una, ang Luciliaga Osorio Group sinang nag-manage sang planta, sang Victoria's Milling nga sentral. Subong hindi na Victoria's Milling Central nga sang una. It is now, the board of directors of Victoria's now is controlled by the Chinese-Filipino banks led by Mr. Tan. Lucio Tan and Mr. Alvin Yu. They are the big stockholders there. And in addition, the Victoria's Milling is under receivership. May kwan na sila, may procedure, may proseso na sila sa SEC nga ang SEC supposedly ang supervise ang ila operations through the receiver. In other words, the board composed of the Chinese-owned banks are the ones operating the day-to-day operations, but it is still under receivership. Kag
may term na expiration sa receivership, why?
So among ganing masubo kay sobra na napulo ka tuig nga receivership asa subong way natapos. Why? The Chinese Filipino banks that operate the Victoria's Milling are not interested in letting go. Because what they are interested is in making as much profits as possible para makihad-kihad nila among themselves to service whatever bank accounts were not paid by Victoria's. And ang impression namon diriya sa Manapla in Barangay Purisima is that they do not care about the public health. They do not care about the environment so long as they make a profit. So it is very tragic what is happening in Manapla. May be happening also in other alcohol plants where our government officials are not discharging the duty of enforcing the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act because of inexplicable reasons.
Inexplicable?
Yes, inexplicable.
Base klarado na nga may dako ang income sa banwa o syudad or individually base kung may mga.
For example, in the DNR, Task Force Kasanag, headed by John Chong, I am the vice president there for legal. We have helped the oppressed people of Barangay Purisima in trying to push for these reforms in the operations of the alcohol plant. So we filed several complaints. We filed a complaint with the DNR. We also filed a complaint with the DAR because the water treatment facility is located in DAR property. And the DAR has tolerated this water treatment that occupies actually DAR areas. What DAR has done so far is nag-file sila criminal case kay kuno violation na hindi wala na convert ang property to industrial, but they are not taking steps to stop the operation of that water treatment plant because it is located in government land, in property which should be subjected to DAR and not used for industrial use.
Oo.
In other words, ang DNR naman niya, kada padala ng muntos ang complaint, balaho na ng complaint dito. For recently, we were able to secure a cease and desist order of the plant, of the water treatment plant for 7 days. 7 days lang gid ang gin-issue ni Regional Director Pasqua. And during the 7 days, why pagsunda sang Victorias? In violate Japon kasi Japon ang production nila.
Tinga exempted ang Victoria sa orders ang Regional Director.
They are not supposed to be exempted and they are supposed to respect these orders, but they are not. And our government agencies are not imposing enough sanctions to be able to curtail the air and water pollution that is being perpetrated by this plant to the prejudice of the public health and even more important to the prejudice of the environment.
Attorney, ang Clean Air Act ni hindi bala nga may layin agad. Ano ganing layin sina for the violations of may mga penalties or sanctions sa mga corporation or closure order o kung ano padra?
The Clean Air and the Clean Water Act gives the DNR the right to not only issue a cease and desist order para maunta to ng operations, but also to stop the plant if it does not follow the cease and desist order. In other words, they have the power to stop the operation of a plant if it violates the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act. But the DNR, unfortunately, is not performing its duty. And as a result, people are dying. People in Barangay Purisma and neighboring barangays are suffering from the air and water pollution, and the DNR is not doing anything.
Killing them softly,
Yes.
Pagkatapos ang aton ang mga mayor, calling Mayor Javier Miguel Benitez, no? Ang parte sa pollution dra sa Victoria's Milling, kag of course sa Manapla, no? Ang mayor sa Manapla si Manolet Escalante. You have to do your homework, no? To protect the interests of your constituents, no? Hindi nga paghatag proteksyon sa aton nga mga negosyante, no? Ang aton nga kung good governance ang pag-aambala, no? Kahit angot ini mga climate change sa good governance sa aton nga mga local public officials, ting ibang gani sang kuno ang panalawigan niya. Naga-aprobar na, no? Way pagani sang nagakaigo nga papeles. Mga parin na pagtukod sang planta dito sa siyudad sa San Carlos, no? Nagakatabo mga kabyanan bangod sa sining wala black concern ang aton nga mga opisyales sa local government, no? Kinahanglan kung kaayuhan sang lawas sa bisang aton nga mga constituents, tagaan ta importansya, no? Hindi kita magpabulag-bulag kay negosyo, ang negosyo dako kwartada mo, no? Mga kabyanan, we will take a quick break, dali lang gid sa aton programa, no? We pause for a while ang aton nga Mr. Premio Trivia portion, no? Parte sa aton guest sa nagligan nga adlaw si Mr. Kenneth Tertdas, ang General Manager sa Carmela Valley Corporation, kag Chairman of the Board sa Talisay City Water District, no? So ang dra sa siyudad sa Talisay, ang bantog dra mga kabyanan nga political organization amo ang ginatawag nga PKT, no? Kunang responsable sa pag-ilihir sa halos tanan nga mga ginpili nga mga opisyal sa siyudad sa Talisay, being supported by PKT. Ang aton pamangkot, anano ang kahulugan sang PKT, no? PKT. Mga kabyanan, ang nagpasakop sa aton trivia portion, mga 45 katao ang nagpasakop. Ang una nga nagsalabat, ang aton 3 lucky winners, una nga nagsalabat mga kabyanan, tatlo ini sila, no? Si Gina de la Cruz, ang first winner, una gid nga nagsabat. Vince Manding, no? Vince Manding, kag ikatatlo si Neil Pahe, no? Ang sabat mga kabyanan, PKT, ang kahulugan sini Partido Kusog Talisaynon. For 200 pesos in cash, no? Sa GCash, aton nga mga, or rather ang aton nga lucky winner, si Gina de la Cruz, amo ang nagsabat sang husto. Now, i-check naton kung sa subong sini, nagalantaw, gayud ka nagapamati si Gina de la Cruz, will give her 10 minutes para mabalaan ta ko nagapamati. Kaya ma-forfeit ang iya sini nga premyo kung wala siya nagalantaw kag nagapamati sa atong programa Transparency diri kita sa Kidlat Balita TV Online through Facebook and YouTube. For the meantime, ang aton anay gali nga pasayod nagikan sa aton nga Golden Legacy Financing Corporation.
If you are 70 to 90 years old, you can still avail of a pension loan from SSS through the Golden Legacy Financing Corporation. At Golden Legacy Financing Corporation, application for SSS pension loan is quick and hassle-free. Up to 18 months. No co-maker. No hidden charges. After printout of SSS, loan is released in 1 day. For inquiries in Negros Occidental, please contact Brenda Laudenorio at Gomez Extension, Barangay 4, Silay City through cell number 0998-288-3729 or 09-663-913132.
Okay, thank you very much. Back on our program, Transparency, diri kita sa Kidlat Balita TV Online with our honored guest, Attorney Roger Brick Reyes. No? Mga kabyanan, ang atong nga mga lucky winners, we would like to acknowledge them nga nagpasakop sa aton nga Mr. Premio Trivia portion. Now, sa liwat, si Gina de la Cruz, ginahulat-hulat naton kung nagalantaw gid siya sa atong programa, no? Kay ang wala nagalantaw nga atong lucky winner gina-forfeit naton ang premyo, no? Balik kita mga kabyanan sa aton main topic of discussion ning parte sa climate change na angot naton ang good governance, no? Kaya aton nga good governance mga kabyanan naga-realize ini o ma-realize sini kung ang aton nga mga local elected officials are beyond question ang ila sini integrity and honesty and dedication of purpose, mga kabyanan, no? Kag mga politiko nga they have not enriched themselves while in office. Pero mga kabyanan, it is sad to say, here in our country today, even politicians who were convicted of graft and corruption are still being elected by the people because of their popularity, not because of competence, of, shall we say, honesty, but because of popularity. Kinanglan tani, ligwato nato na atong konstitusyon, kag kinanglan nga i-disbar naton kung sa mga abogado pa. Hindi na sila makabalik pag serbisyo, abe, kung may mga kaso sila, especially graft and corruption, kasi plain dishonesty na mo. You are dishonest. Public service is not for you, no? So, mga kabyan, balik kita sa kay Attorney Brick Reyes. Brick, parte sa
Climate change.
Climate change. Ito, hindi lang problema sa pungsod Pilipinas, kundi pangkalibutanon. Ini nga problema. May mga linog, kakunano pa nga mga natural calamities. It is because of climate change kinatuga sini, no? Now, break ng parte sa kadugay nga mga reklamo sa mga pumuluyo sa Barangay Purisima sa banwasang manapla ning pabaho abi kag health hazard nga planta sang alcohol nga ginapanag-iyahan sang Victoria's Milling Company, no? So anano madugang naton sini kung bala kabalong aton mga mayor ginatawgan naton abi si Mayor Javier Miguel Benitez
And
ang
Mayor
moving
Escalante
mayor.
especially.
Oo, kag si Mayor Manulet Escalante sang Manapla, no?
Because the mayor sometimes justifies his actions because hindi nga nag-issue man clearance si barangay captain sa Monte.
Oo.
So, issue man ko permit. Kasi ng
Okay.
DNR, nag-issue man clearance man sang operation sang planta. So, I have no basis to not to issue the permit.
Oo.
In that instance, may rason man si mayor. Pero, in front of his table are hundreds and thousands of complaints
Oo.
about the pollution caused by this plant
Di nga ang barangay kapitan da si sa Monte.
sa Monte.
Oo, anong iya sabat? Wa
ang-
siya
ang-
kakita, wa siya kabalo.
Bisan siya gani, hindi ka agwantas ang baho da. So the mayor only has to go to Barangay Manapla, to Barangay Purisma, especially sa Aga. Kaya man ginadiskarga ni ang air pollution usually sa kagahon bala Mike,
Oo.
where people are not moving around, are not conscious, they're sleeping, and then i-diskarga ni ning baho nga to the point nga dumalumpat ka sa katre mo sa kabaho. And literally, as I have pointed out, nagkalamatay na several persons, we count about 23 of them, nga may mga retrato kami sa nagkalamatay nga lung-related diseases.
Pero complainants sila o hindi? Why sila nag-complain?
Paano sila mag-complain kay patayin na ni sila?
Hindi,
Kundi
ang ko silingon, before they died,
what the task force Kasanag has done is collate na mo ni ang history nila, ang mamablatian nila, amo man ang mga kabataan, kag mga kababaihan nga may mga skin diseases, kag may asthma. Kaya man ang baho ni, hindi man niya 24 hours. The baho is ejected about 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and then it really interrupts your breathing. And
patigid.
hindi magwanta mo gang iban ka panuhot sa dalom sang lamisa sang katre kay hindi gid magwanta ang baho kay isog, especially kung lapit-lapit ka sa ila water treatment facility. But the mayor is aware of this. All he has to do is to go to Barangay Purisma and he'll find out. Ang barangay, pambarangay nga kuan bala ilang council, sanggunian pambarangay of Purisma has issued 2 resolutions asking for the closure of the plant because of the air and the water pollution.
So mismo ang barangay nag-issue gid sa
Yes,
resolution.
despite this resolution, 2 resolutions, one in 2020, another in 2021, probably another one this year, our barangay captain keeps on issuing clearances.
Bawa.
And our mayor keeps issuing permits. So, kami nga mga nagabulig, task force Kasanag, makapinsar, sang malain sa ila. So, we filed an ombudsman case against them, against Mayor Escalante, and against Barangay Samonte, and also against the DNR people, because DNR Regional Director Pasqua does not, I underscore, does not conduct any public consultations before he issues the ECC. Amo ning ginaputistahan namon, kada mo damo sa complaint, why siya nag-hold sa public consultation? Because he knows fully well na ma-object kid ang pumuluyo and there will be no social acceptability for this alcohol plant in its present state. So, sad to say, ang aton nga Clean Air Act kag Clean Water Act is a very good law, but if it is not enforced by our regional director and our public officials, this law is a toothless law.
Bale, why na?
Why gid pulos?
Why pulos? So kinanglan ang aton nga mga local government officials, especially ang aton DENR, no? Ang aton DENR should do something about it, no? Kay halit ini ang pollution, health hazard, no? It poses health hazard sa mga pumuluyo mo. Isa na siling nimo, you made mention that there were so many residents of the area who were killed softly. Mga sobra 20 ini sila ang nakalamatay, no? Not directly sa sining pollution, Pero mga kabyanan, bangod sa health hazard abe, may kailabtanan gid ang ining masiling naton planta sang alcohol nga ginapanag-iyahan sang mga Chinese businessmen.
And may complication pa diri sa ining issue of the alcohol plant because prior to this year, January this year, ining area covered by the plant itself, total area of about 100 hectares, was covered by land reform by the Department of Agrarian Reform. And as a
Land
result
reform?
of that, yes, kinland reform na 105 hectares, dalang planta.
Oo.
Kag ining 105 hectares, ang naposesyonan pa lang namon subong is 2 hectares of the 105 hectares because may kluwa nga na-issue na.
Mhm.
So, ang Victorias has no legal leg to fight us, although kinausaran kami sa security guards and sometimes even the police are filing cases against the agrarian reform beneficiaries. Ang issue subong amo niyang tabo, Mike. The 105 hectares was declared as a land reform area by then DAR Secretary Mariano. Victoria's tried to reclassify it as industrial, but Secretary Mariano did not agree and declared this an area coverable by land reform. As a result, ang title na-transfer Republic of the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
And subsequently, nagbayad ang land bank sa
Oh.
tatlo ni Kalute, ginisyuan na ni deposit totaling more than 30 million pesos in favor of Victoria's Milling Company.
Uh-huh.
Pero, despite that, inidiyan pagid nga ma-reclassify during the time of Secretary Castriciones sang iyang natawag na committee lang sa iyang opisina, pero wala sang iya pirma.
Oo.
In-reclassify nila into industrial, kagkaroon gin-transfer naman nilang title sa Victorias, and Victorias is now saying that hindi na kami covered by agrarian reform.
Wow, grabe,
And that
no?
is for me a gross violation of the law and also decisions of the Supreme Court nga nagasiling nga basta na transfer na sa Republic na bayran sa sang land bank, end of the story na i-implementar yun ang land reform. So, the other side of the issue in Barangay Purisima is that more than 100 agrarian reform beneficiaries have not been installed on the 100 hectares because the DAR itself, through its committee lang, hindi secretary, reclassified the property and then it's back to Victorias, and Victorias is using its security guards. Nagpatindog ang Victoria's Milling Company, Mike, sang Great Wall of China.
Grabe
Dira sa
ba?
palibot sa mga duta para
Oh.
hindi makasulod ang agrarian reform beneficiaries. In other words, you have a huge problem in that area, not only because of the air and water pollution, but because the agrarian reform beneficiaries identified by DAR have not been installed contrary to law.
Contrary to law, illegal kay kontra sa lay anong ginay mo sang aton DAR secretary sa subong sini, no? Kaya committee lang to nag-decide, pero sa chimpo yan
Castraciones.
oo. Nano to, may legal basis to si Castraciones, kay committee lang to. Mas mataas siya siguro ang desisyon sang Secretary of Environment. Sa karon kung sino naman ang Secretary of Environment, uwak bawi abe ang implementation sini o ang ruling abe sa sining DAR. Nabayra na sang land bank 30 million tapos bawi o naman.
Correct. And that is why we seem to have no other alternative but to bring this to the attention of the national government. First of all, sa bag-o nga sekretarya sang Department of Environment and Natural Resources, si Madam Yulo, who is, I'm sure, related to the Yulo families in Bago, who has been recently appointed, babae na siya, and she used to be part of this climate monitoring group in the Ateneo. We hope that she will listen to us and even send an investigation team to bear witness to the air and water pollution perpetrated by the plant of Victorias in Manapla.
So kinanglan kinanglan matagaan ni hustisya ng aton nga mga CARP beneficiaries nga supposed to be i-install sila pero because of the committee nga sa din nagdesider iya nagbawi abi sa sining claim abi sang aton nga mga beneficiaries sa CARP di mo na mga kabyanan dapat solbahon ini sang bag-o nga Secretary of Environment. So ang climate change proteksyonan tagid whoever gets hurt, ang aton nga mga negosyante yati profit motive iniya mo, ha? Mga tag-iya abi sang mga korporasyon ti dalagko ini sila nga mga negosyante nga daw untouchable bala, ti kinanglan ng aton gobyerno should do something about it, no? Ang aton oras sa subong sini las 9:42 sa bilog nga kapuluan sang Pilipinas. So ang aton nga lucky winner gali kay na, ha? Why? Away siya galantaw sa atong programa. So i-forfeit naton in favor sa iban nga nagdalaog ang atong 200 pesos cash sa Mr. Premio Trivia portion. Si Vince Manding or si Neil Pahe o nagalantaw sa atong programa, i-monitor naton kag in 10 minutes time before we wind up sa atong program, makabaton kita sa information kung bala nagalantaw sila o nagapamati sa aton transparency. Okay, 9:43 sa bilog nga kapuluan sang Pilipinas. Sa ilo kita mga kabyanan, luwas abi sa sining dalagko nga mga isyo. Diri sa Victoria's Milling Company nga mo naga-operate abi sang alcohol plant sa Barangay Purisima dito sa Panwasang Manapla, no? Sa ilo kita sa mga dalagko man nga isyu abi. Ang aton subong vice gobernador si Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer in-appoint ini siya sang bag-o naton nga presidente, si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. nga mangin personal advisor sa Western Visayas. Kung ano mga problema sa Western Visayas, maka-relay si Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer sa mga problema parte sa Western Visayas. Possibly, yung problema ta sa climate change, kasi kung matagaan taman info ang aton Vice Governor, no? Yes. So possibly you can make proper representation kasi ang task force kasanag well-known yung grupo sa bilog nga Pilipinas ay nagahatag proteksyon sa mga nagareklamo bala, mga underprivileged nga mga tao nga sa din may mga tinutuyo abe para sa kayuan sang ilang grupo, no? Especially sa mga gina-oppress nga mga tao. At you can just imagine mga legitimate beneficiaries ini sila sang CARP and yet why sila ma-install, no? So hopefully ang task force kasanag under the leadership ni John Chong nga amo man subong ang corruption advocate nga gabulig man abi sa kay Bongbong Marcos. Hopefully makaproteher sang aton climate change no, mga clean kag water air acts.
Yes, kag isa pa Mike nalipat ko magmensyonar nga ang planta sang alcohol diri sa Barangay Purisima, Manapla nag-installar sang mga dalagko nga storage tanks for methane gas, for ammonia and other combustible materials nga ginhambala namo ng barangay nga dinang ilas na clearance to construct these huge storage facilities. Kay why clearance, why permit, construction permit kani?
Why construction
why
permit?
Construction permit?
Di daw ka pinagusto lang how?
Exactly.
Sang...
That is the correct word. Ga pinagusto lang ang Victoria's Milling pagpatindog sa mga storage facilities for combustible materials without complying with the law. May Republic Act 6969 kita that regulates the installation and the operation of storage facilities for toxic materials.
Bawa.
Toxic and hazardous materials. kadumdum ka sa natabo sa Lebanon,
Oo.
atong naglupok ang ammonia
Oo,
nga storage plant.
Damo to ng kalamatay.
Damo nagkalamatay, and we hope and pray that will not happen in Purisima, Manapla, in these storage facilities of the alcohol plant.
Mhm. Hopefully, ha?
Combustible mo, ang methane gas ya, combustible ginakatama. Kasi
Pwede
glab na.
maglupok. Oo.
Pwede mo na may mo gasol pang luto mo.
Amo gani, oh.
And what the plant is doing is it is ejecting this methane gas into the air in violation of environmental standards.
Oh. So, ang aton gobernador, luwas sabi kay Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer, nga personal advisor, abi ni President Bongbong Marcos, di hopefully ang aton gobernador, Bong Lacson, can also do something about this. Ang aton sangguniang panalawigan, under the leadership ni Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer, will do something about the problem sa barangay Purisima, Manapla, no? Banwasang Manapla. Sabay pang they will fall on deaf ears ning mga reklamo sa mga taga-barangay Purisima. Kag so many years, nga reklamo, daw ay mga ginapamatian sang aton bungol, sang aton nga mga opisyales sa gobyerno provincial, kag sa aton municipal government of Manapla. Kabay pa nga matagaan isang hustisya ang mga tao, especially ng health hazard nga planta na nagatugas ang kalainan sa ikayong lawas ang So, attorney, no? Ang aton oras buong las 9:48 na do kadasig lang, no? Do, wala lang dugay.
Kulang pa gani. Kulang pa. Oh.
Ina yung mga requirements naton ba lang? Aning bureaucratic requirements sa gobyerno kung kaisa kung dumdumon talang pirme daw makasuluka, no? Damo sa mga hindi pwede abi nga mga requirements ginahimo sang gobyerno para lang mahatag inconvenience kag mahatag gasto or expenses on the part sang aton nga mga negosyante. Pareho sini karon ma-ship ka lang 5 o 10 abi ka fighting cock sa Manila. Abi mo kung ano mga requirements, may business permit. Mabayad ka pa sang fire fee. Nga ang imong negosyo pati lang sa pila ka nahot nga mga fighting cocks nga hindi man fire hazard abi. Bakal ka lang fire extinguisher nga makuha ka pa sang permit abi sa Bureau of Fire Protection. So kadamo sa mga unnecessary business permits na hindi na bagay bala nga kapabudlay sa mga negosyante.
Kay amo nang nature of corruption, Mike. They are
Nature of corruption,
they put requirements, and in order to comply with the requirements, you have to give them an incentive, financial incentive para mapirmahan ang imo clearance. That is why that one of the programs of Task Force Kasanag is to be able to come up with recommendations to the national government on how to moderate corruption. Hindi tamang gini ma-eliminate completely because the human nature is such, especially diri sa Pilipinas, kadamo oportunista mo. Mangita idiyagid para makakwarta. Kag sometimes I cannot reconcile yung mga Kristiyano man sila. They are violating the 10 Commandments by stealing the money of the government. And if they violate the 10 Commandments, there's no way that they can enter the kingdom of heaven.
Amo gani, break, no? Siling ni former executive judge Ray Alan Drilon, nga many Filipinos are religious but not righteous.
So that is why nga manaming gitani nga we will be able to finalize our recommendations to the national government to moderate corruption, because we believe that unless we can moderate corruption to a level which is hindi maka-affect ang quality of services and goods that are given to the people, we will never progress. And I think President Bongbong Marcos is aware of that. Nga gusto niya nga ma-minimize gid ang corruption kay otherwise wala gid pag-asa ang Pilipinas.
Why good? Siling lang kita good governance. We move forward. Ekonomita, ipaswagon tang atong ekonomiya. How can we do it? How can we address sa mga problema sa pumuluyo ang aton nga mga negosyante, ang aton nga mga employers, mga workers how can we move forward as a country and as a people? Kung halos tanan damo sa mga requirements, no? Pwerte ka damo. Pareho ni mapakonsulta ka lang swab test, mandatory swab test. Pila ang bili. May bakal mo bugas sudan. I-swab test manay. Pakonsulta ka naman sa hospital mapa x-ray ka. Swab test anay.
Bisan magbakal ng bulong, Mike,
Oo.
you need a prescription for antibiotics.
Oo.
A prescription which costs at least 300 pesos. Nga way ka gani inog bakal sa bulong, makuha ka pa prescription. Kung kabalo ka man ang tani sang imo bulong ni limnon, bisan barangay health officer na lang ang ma-recommendar without the necessity of getting a doctor's consultation.
Kaya ang doctor's consultation, luwas nga mahal, it entails a lot of your time.
Right.
Mahulat ka 2-3 ka oras pa konsulta ka. So, ang health services sa Pilipinas, why good data? Why good? Galing ka atong timpo break ang aton nga party
I think
message.
we should have another session to discuss how to moderate corruption.
Okay.
And maybe this will end up with the president so that he can consider this. Hopefully, our President John Chong will be part of the new agency called the Presidential the Presidential Task Force Against Corruption or for Good Governance. If he becomes a part of this group, then we will be properly within the authority of the government to come out with recommendations.
Okay. Mga kabiyanan ng ato nga chimpo kulabos na kita, ang aton nga mga lucky winners, no? Si Neil Pahe, araya. So, congratulations sa kay Neil Pahe, no? Ang aton nga kwan? Neil Pahe. Congratulations, Neil Pahe, for winning 200 pesos cash. Sa Martes nga daw, mabaton mo through GCash, no? Courtesy sang aton nga mga donors, ang Pepsi Cola Bottlers Philippines Incorporated, ang of course pagay sa ilas ni General Manager si Jerry Madamba, of course si Lionel Aspera, no, ang sales manager sang Pepsi Cola Product Philippines. Also, kapasalamat kita sa kay Brigadier General Inocencio Pasaporte, ang commander sang 303rd Infantry Brigade Philippine Army, sa pagdonar sa mugs, no? Kag of course cash donation. Ang aton Congressman Greg Sataya, ang aton abyan Kenneth Tertdas sang Partido Kusog Talisaynon. Of course, congratulations sa kay Neil Pahe, no? Ang Kusog Talisaynon, Partido Kusog Talisaynon, nagabulig sa pagpadaog sa mga kandidato sang nagligad nga pinilian. So many elections have passed, ang Partido Kusog Talisaynon nakabuligid sa mga kandidato. So, ang aton nga words of wisdom for today comes from the late U.S. President George Washington. He said, and I quote, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." Ang inyong alagad, Mike Maghari, nagasiling, thank you so much. Mabuhay ang Pilipino. This has been another presentation of Transparency TV, broadcasting live on Facebook from Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, through the facilities of Kidlat Balita TV Online. Be with us again every Tuesday Thursday and Saturday at 9 to 10 a.m. Thank you for watching. God bless everyone.